Okay, this is the last part of the value scale series. This is going to be your blended sphere. Okay, this is the fun one. I enjoy doing this one a lot because you get to use that blending stick, and it starts to make things look more realistic. When you apply shading and you apply the blending stick, that's what you really want to do when you're trying to do a realistic portrait, and you'll see how we implement that when we do our facial features in a moment. Okay, so for now we're going to do a circle. So you guys are going to grab one of the circle tracers. I have some green circle tracers in the on the side of the room where the colored pencils and where the markers are. There's some green circle tracers there. If you just trace yourself like a medium to a large size circle to start with, and then you're going to do this. Okay, you're going to make 1, 2, 3 curved lines here. Okay, the reason why you want to curve these is because it's going to make it look more like a sphere if you shade it to the contour or the curve of the circle. Okay, that's going to turn it into an actual sphere. Now if I did this and I had my sphere or my circle like this and I just drew straight across lines like that, it's going to appear more flat. So we're curving these lines. The first section you're going to do 100%, then about 80, then we'll go about 60 in the third. And I'm just going to kind of make these lines a little bit lighter. Okay, you should still be able to see that a little bit, but I'm going to make them a little bit lighter so that I don't get any dark outlines in my sphere. Okay, so here's my 100%. I'm going to shade that in. I'm going to be real careful along that edge and make sure I do a nice job pressing as hard as I can, getting that 100% shade in there all the way across in that section and shading it to the contour of the sphere. Okay, then working my hand up the pencil a little bit to do my 80%, where I'm going just a little bit lighter. It's still very, very dark, but not quite as dark as the 100%. Okay, and again, you guys probably want to do this a little bit slower. Go a little bit slower, take a little bit more time and care in this, and do a nice job. This last one we're doing here, this blended sphere, is going to be worth another 5 points, giving you a total of 20 points for your value scale series here. Okay, and again, this will probably take you about 2 days to do. Okay, so that's 180, hopefully you can see that. And then finally I'm going to go to my 60, which is a little bit lighter than my 80. Okay, and then we get to do the fun part. Okay, again, you're kind of curving it to the edge there. Okay, making sure it all looks pretty even and about the same tone or value. Okay, so I got my 100, my 80, and my 60. Now I'm ready to start using my blending stick. Okay, now my blending stick is really going to smooth everything out. I kind of want to use my blending stick where the two values meet. So where 100 meets 80 is kind of where I want to fade that together. Okay, so I'm going to hit that blending stick pretty hard. I'm pressing pretty hard on it. Okay, you can see there's already a little bit of pencil on there, but I'm pressing it pretty hard. I'm making sure that that 100 blends into the 80, and it kind of creates that 90% in between there, and it fades together. Using, again, the side of the blending stick. Okay, the side of the blending stick, not the tip of the blending stick. Okay, then I'm going to hit the 80, where the 80 meets the 60. I don't want to make the 60 look like it's all 80, so I'm just going to press a little bit lighter in here. I'm just going to kind of smooth the whole thing out so it kind of fades in with one another, but doesn't all make it the same exact value. Now from 60, this is where I'm just going to use my blending stick to create a 50. Okay, so that should be a naturally a little bit lighter of a shade right there. There's a 50. And then I'm going to go to a 40. Again, trying to curve it a little bit and use a little bit more of the side of the blending stick. Okay, so we're curving it this way. Now my blending is looking a little streaky there. Okay, so I might have to go back and just kind of like touch it up a little bit with an eraser, maybe like reblend it a little bit. Okay, so, you know, even though I make mistakes from time to time, it's all right to just, you know, go back and readjust it and try it again. Sometimes, you know, sometimes it's a little bit harder with some pencils. You know, different pencils are a little bit different results. You know, I have this pencil right here. It's a Prismacolor pencil. I'm not used to using it, and it's a little bit different, but you know, we'll just kind of work with it and see what we get. Okay, I'm kind of turning the blending stick and rotating it a little bit as I go to just kind of get like a more clean side to it. And now I think it's turning out a little bit better here. You know, I'm going over if I see any areas that look like it's a little streaky. I'm just trying to go back and smooth them out. And then again, we're going to just make it get lighter and lighter and lighter as it goes all the way to the top here. So I'm pressing a little bit lighter and fading out from, let's say if that's a 40, then we're going to a 20 up here, all the way down to a 10, to a 5, to a 0 at the top. And you should see a little bit of lightness there where it just fades out to nothing at the very top there. Okay, and that looks pretty good. Again, I'm just going to kind of go back and I'm just going to kind of give a little more curvature to the sides here. I'm going to maybe give it a little bit of structure along the edge there. Not a dark outline, but a little bit of structure along that edge there. Look a little bit nicer. And I think that's pretty good. Okay, I think that's pretty good. My finishing touch here, as you can see in many of these other ones, is you're gonna add a little drop shadow down there. Okay, so we're gonna put a little drop shadow. It's just kind of like an oval that attaches to the bottom of there. It's a little oval. You don't see the entire oval like that. And it's gonna be a little bit darker in here. And again, you can shade with a mechanical pencil. Okay, so here's my mechanical pencil. I'm gonna shade it pretty dark underneath there. And then I'm going to fade it out a little bit lighter. And I'm just gonna use the blending stick to fade that out all the way. Okay, but do we want to put outlines around things? No, so I'm going to try and erase this outline around the outer edge of that shadow, and I'm just going to let the value become that outer edge, and it just looks more realistic, and it kind of fades out, and it makes it look like you reach out and pick it up. Okay, so that is your value scale series. If you have all 4 of those done, you're going to go on to selecting your image for the portrait project. Okay, I want you to find an image. I want you to make sure that it's as large as possible, and if you need to see how to do that, there's a tutorial on how to do a search and edit your image so it's as large as possible in the document. Okay, thank you guys.